Good afternoon. I'm Brian Tate with Daseke. I'm a Director of Maintenance and Fleet Optimization. I'm here to talk about our APUs and how to utilize them for the best efficiencies. Airflow is really going to be the key that we're going to talk about. We're going to run through some of the basic understandings of it and try to create an environment for your success in staying cool on the hot days. With that, we'll start over here on the APU unit where the motor and the compressor live, and that's down here on this side. All of this, the controls are on the inside, but this unit is all of the mechanical aspect. And then we'll come through and we'll go through the startup features of it, and from that we're going to show best success for airflow to keep your environment cool. This has the raised top. Everything we're going to talk about will fit for all applications of a sleeper unit, or even that with an APU unit specifically. So we're going to start on the inside here. If we look at our environment, we'll start with bunks down. We have two vents on the sides there, a little dark in here at the moment. And then vents lower here. As you are storing your content, of course, those vents would want to remain open, and so that all of the air can flow. And if you look at my feet, this area, all this area around my feet, we want to keep open and available. If you can think of a water slide at your swimming pool, we'll pull water from the swimming pool low, we'll push it up the slide, the water slides back down and dumps into the swimming pool. Air is going to do the same thing. Cold air is going to come out from the top here and there. There's a vent below we'll show you in a moment, cold air. But what cold air is really doing is it is starting high and it is going to drop to the floor. It's going to be pulled back in to where our fan motor is. And then it's going to be pushed back up, come back out, and every time it takes a lap around, as it does a big circle, we're going to cool it. Typically, we're going to be about 20 degrees coming out of the vent colder than the ambient, what the room temperature is. As the room temperature gets cooler, what comes out of the vent is going to get colder. So our success is based on rolling the air, continuing to roll the air. Let's lift the bed and we can look at some of the products down here easier. Here is a main cold vent coming out of the APU fan motor, and this you can adjust. If you lower this down, more air will come out of those upper vents. If we open this up, the greater volume is going to remain low. These louvers here, these louvers here, here, are all designed for the air that's all in the living space here to go back into the under the bunk compartment. This unit here is the evaporator. It's what makes the air cold, and the fan is in this box here. These vents here, we don't want them crushed. We want to keep them all nice and open so that they can deliver the air flow. But as we are circulating our air, we're going to return the air to the fan. The fan pickup is clear back here. So this whole area where these louvers are to the pickup of the fan needs to remain open. We got to have lots of airflow open. And as you are setting up your truck and you're looking at how you're going to store your content, you need to be very mindful. If you could create on this model, if you could create an invisible barrier that went from here back, from here back, you know, on the outside of these tubes, and you left that area all available from these vents to where the air can flow, you're going to have the best success at keeping your environment cold. If we clutter this area and we crush the tubes, we block the airflow from this vent here that comes in, and we do not create a nice environment to get back to the suction side of this, we are going to diminish its ability to circulate the air, and that will cause us problems. This is APU. This is an AC system that is off of the tractor. When your main tractor engine is running, this AC unit is what is working on behalf of the sleeper unit. All models are laid out similar, and so everything we're talking about, again, should affect in all applications. With that, let's fire it up. Well, let me note one more thing. This unit here in this model is the S-bar heater. The S-bar heater, the hot air comes out, heat raises, as we know, so the hot air comes out. If we look over here, again, the suction for this heater is right down there where my finger's pointing. That's the suction. Cold air coming in, goes through the heater, hot air out. If we're blocking our access here, here, and here to where air cannot flow in and around and gain that inlet there, we will not allow the S-bar heater to be very efficient. Again, severe cold, you're going to be cold inside. Same theory, again, AC system, we circulate the air, it'll be very efficient and effective. So our air control availability is highly important. All right. Close that down. Come around here. A feature that is worthwhile noting. We're going to fire this up. And once it's on, this model, other models have a standby. This will have a standby, but we just turn it on. And the value of this will be, what do you do when you're at the fuel dock, you're parked, all of this. If you leave the APU in the on position, we're going to find it. Oops, sorry about that. Let's see. No, should be this one. There we go. And cold. So this is actually what on is. I don't know if you can hear the hum, fans kicking on. We're going to give it a moment and the APU will fire. And what we're going to simulate, APU is running right now. The APU is going to warm up, it's going to spend a little bit of time, and then it will kick the compressor on, and then it will start producing the cold effect. So what we want to show here is that we are now in on. We've set our temperature cold. We can set it to different degrees. But if we set it cold and leave it like this, then you're at lunch, APU is running, you are continuing to cool your environment. You do not have to idle the main engine. And this will be very valuable for so many other things that we won't go into. But with the APU, a lot of benefit. So right now we're running with the APU, and I'm going to keep the camera here, but I'm going to go start the main engine, and you will see up here where it goes into standby. Leave it on. I'm going to go drive the truck. We're going to pretend we went and drove it for 6 hours. And you're going to see that this turns off. I'm going to turn the truck engine back off. You're going to see that this will turn back on. Does APU say standby? Yep, APU standby on top. APU is now turned off. We are now operating on the prime engine, the truck engine. It's AC system, so we're continuing to cool our house here, our environment, but we are operating on the truck. So I can stay this way for 10 hours. I'm driving for 10 hours, or I drove for 4 hours. I'm going to stop for an hour, take a break, get some lunch. And so now we're going to turn the engine off and we're going to watch the APU start back up automatically. And again, it's going to fire. I hear the fan. It should be telling you that it is in startup mode or that it's in the on position. And there's the APU. It is running now, as I can hear it. A couple other important factors to keep in mind. We have an open window on our passenger side. For your sleeper area, close that shade. Keep it dark, right? We also have curtains here that we won't spread out, but the curtains we can close. We'll do one side. And while you're traveling, even with the truck side AC, and then, or you are at lunch and you're running your APU with both sides closed, you're controlling your environment here, and that will that's going to make your area smaller, and it's going to be far more effective, especially in the hotter temperatures. So controlling your environment is very important. You will note on the driver's side we have the window shade closed. That's what it would look closed, as you all know, utilizing this. But all of that will cut down the heat intrusion. And again, as we flow our air, keep the circle flowing, that's going to create the most efficiency and capacity of the unit to be effective. And again, on very hot days, we have learned we can pull these areas down and keep them in a very comfortable temperature range, even on the hottest of days. And we've done it and tried it multiple times. The key, again, which is always missed and overlooked, it is the ability to create airflow. I realize that there is a lot of content that a operator needs for their vehicle. Those are areas that you're going to have to figure out. Those are areas you need to be attentive to. Again, an open floor space to where the airflow can easily get to those louvers, and then in the storage areas on the side boxes, all of that storage needs to be controlled to where you have optimum airflow to get to both the truck side evaporator, which is that part of the system, and the APU part of the evaporator, which is right in the middle, as we saw. Hey, now that we discussed all of our sleeping area and maximizing that, let's talk a little bit about maximizing your efforts and your optimization of operating off of the truck engine AC system. So again, when we have our key on and our AC controls, that's all being managed off of the engine and the compressor off the engine. We have two evaporators under that system. We have an evaporator under the dash. We have an evaporator that we showed you under the sleeping unit. Okay, that all is operational with the main prime engine running. A few characteristics to be concerned about. Again, we're going to have cold air coming out of our vents. All these vents with cold air, right? For our comfort. The air is going to come out, it's going to roll down, and it's going to get picked up under your feet here. There's holes here, and then on the driver's side, the same thing, just above the accelerator and the brake pedal, there are holes, and those are all going into a manifold or a tube of like, if you will, that goes into the evaporator, which we will cool the air. Again, we're going to recycle the air, and as we continue to recycle the air, it's going to get cooler and cooler and cooler. If we block those with our content, be it whatever, it doesn't matter, but if we do not allow that airflow to happen properly, or we have these bunch of these blocked off by other types of content, or maybe it's open like this, but we put something here and it doesn't really allow the air to flow out immediately, all of those types of blockage cuts down air circulation. Again, flowing the air is your success, and everything else is just mechanical, and it'll do its job when it is all set up right, which will be typically most of the time. But what you have immediate effect on, immediate control is will you allow the air to flow on how you set up your living quarters and your operational station. If you keep the airflow working, this will cool, and it will cool very, very well. Again, when you shut down for fuel, you shut down for lunch, you shut down to take a walk and a break, all of those, your APU is going to fire automatically with your engine off. All of a sudden you're cooling now the whole environment because you have your airflow. You come back in, you fire up, APU, do nothing with it, and it will shut down. You're on your truck system now, and you're back to cooling again. Again, that makes it all work really well, and we hope you the best success.